And welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, everybody. My name is JeffLightsyJr. This is the Victor Formation Sports Show. We have a special guest on with me today. He's going to play for Coach TC Taylor and the Jackson State Tigers. We've got AJ, you see it, Ferrari Owens, the linebacker out of Hutchinson going to JSU. AJ, how's it going, sir?
It's going great.
Hey, thanks for coming on with me today. Before we get into Coach Taylor, the Tigers playing for JSU, let's take it back, AJ. Let's talk about the early days of Mr. Owens. Who was kind of the first person to put a football in your hand and kind of taught you the game of ball?
Well, I've been playing football since I was 4 years old. My brother, he was playing it, and I was at his games as early as I can walk. And then my father, he coached me from age 4 all the way to age 12.
Wow. So Pops is the coach. But
hmm
what was that like playing for your dad, for 8
Man,
years for a big chunk of your football life? What was that like?
he taught me a lot. To be honest, he taught me that the game of football is actually the game of life. So I just apply all of what I learned in football and use that to become a better man and husband and things of that sort. But we never ever played daddy ball, as
Mm.
what people call it. And honestly, he was always the toughest on me, and he made sure that I didn't cut no corners at all. I had to do everything right, or it was not good enough. And
Hey
that
man,
was
that's awesome to hear. That's awesome that Pops was really keeping you on the straight and narrow, making sure that hey, just because I'm the coach and you're my player, yeah, like you said, ain't no daddy ball. We're gonna do the
mhm.
things the right way and really, see the growth and development in your game. And speaking of the growth and development in your game, you're a D1 football player. You're going to Jackson, you're gonna do those things. So that means you're pretty good at football. At what age, was it early, was it later in life, did you kind of realize like, hey, I'm pretty good at football and I could probably do something with this football thing?
Well, early I played up my entire little league career. So I played with a lot of big name guys and things. And I was always a two-way guy. So I had to be a leader in things, and I always knew that all of my intangibles will hopefully uh, get me to earn this scholarship and things. So I always knew that on the field and off the field, I had to be a well-rounded person and human being, and everything else was going to take care of itself. But in middle school was when I really became bigger, faster, and stronger than a lot of people. So with that, my IQ grew. I've been watching film since I was in third grade. Pops had us on film like crazy. So yeah. So once the IQ had got there, it was like, oh, okay, all right, now it's really time to put in work. Like it's really time to go. So then I just turned up from there, and I was able to receive my first one after a very slow process in January of my senior year.
Wow, that is crazy. Before we get to the high school thing, because you started to talk about it a little bit, just take me into what's it like watching film as an eighth grade. I mean, as a third grader. You're about 8 years old. What are the things that pops are showing you on the film? Are you watching high school film, NFL film, college film? What's that like?
So our team we always played on i- in the top conference. I said top league in
Yeah.
Texas, Taifa, and then I also played up in the gridiron, and then I was on Friday night Tykes twice.
Wow.
So everything was recorded. So we
It's very
we
true.
would watch our film like 3 times a week, and then the opponent scout twice a week. So that was That was character building, as as I would call it. I'm not gonna lie, cause just being a kid and like and just them being so nitpicky, it was like I don't really understand it, and it was coming off very loving, and tough love. So it was confusing at first, but as soon as I realized, okay, I'm looking at myself and I can get better by watching this. So it took off from there.
That's awesome, man. That's such a really good breakdown of what it's like watching film as an 8-year-old, right? Like as a third
Hmm.
grader. That's pretty cool to hear it from that perspective. You articulated that really well. Now let's fast forward a little bit. Let's talk about your high school career. What was you hail from the great state of Texas, the city of Houston, by the way. We know what football is like. You talked about the Friday night tights that you were a part of. We know what football is like, specifically high school football in Texas, what that's like. What was your high school experience playing football in Texas like for you?
So my experience was very up and down. I was on varsity my sophomore year, and to be honest, I don't think I was ready at the time, but I started 2 games and I played in 8. And then my junior year, I switched positions to D end, and
Hmm.
I was a backup. And then I was also a backup middle linebacker. But after the fifth game, I finally broke the starting lineup because of the fourth game, I had 20 tackles. And in the
Hmm.
fifth game, I had another 20. So
Hmm.
that was that was God, because I feel like I should have been playing, but I had to wait extra year and a half. But looking back, I know that it was probably the best decision for me not to play because it really helped me develop that drive mentally of I, I don't care where I'm at up on the depth chart. I'm just gonna just work. I'm just gonna go, because back up in the day, like I'm always the one because I've always been the guy to
Yeah.
do more and do extra. But um, that was kind of the standard there, So I was a two for most of my varsity career, and then my senior year, that was when I really exploded. But we did not have a good enough team. All 3 years that I was on varsity, I went 2-10 my sophomore year. No, 2-10 my junior year.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then my senior year, I went 5-6, I believe.
So
5-5.
yeah, when your team is struggling, you may be doing well individually, but when your team is struggling, that could possibly affect recruiting. As someone who does this, I understand that. So what was that recruiting like for you when going 2-10 a junior year and only winning 5 games your senior year? How was recruiting, and then also being a backup, like you said, for a lot of that time? What was like your recruiting experience like in high school?
So, I had made a tiny bit of buzz my junior year, but then COVID had happened. So all of the
Mm.
junior days I had lined up, everything that I had lined up got put to bed. So then senior year comes around and I have like 2 D2s before the season and like 2 D3s, and I'm like, I know that I'm a Division 1 player, so I just have to ball. And I heard from a decent amount of Division 1 schools throughout um, October through December, but nobody really offered me. And then Lamar came through and offered me through mid January. And then right after that, Sam Houston in Central Arkansas came and offered, but I was already committed to Lamar. I was like, I'm stuck,
Yeah.
not stuck,
Hey,
but
and
I'm
and
committed.
and that's so you make that decision. What goes into your decision to end up at Hutchinson? right? Like you ended up at Hutchinson. What kind of went into that to where you end up going the JUCO route?
Okay, so my time at Lamar was kind of rocky, but I did the most that I could do. We had lost at the time it was a record in the NCAA 16 games up in a row.
Mm,
So then my sophomore year, I started my last 3 games. No, the first 3 games, and then I red shirted so I can save my year. So with the red shirt, I went JUCO, but I did have 9 offers up in the portal, but
mm.
I was like, nah, I felt like I could go bigger.
Yeah. We always hear the JUCO stories. What was your time at Hutchinson like for you?
Time at Hutchinson, man. Hutchinson, Kansas. Big Hutch, H-Town. That's what I like to call it. But it was honestly so amazing. It was a learning experience. Um I think that I really morphed into a better man there. I
Mm,
I I think that Hutch is not a JUCO at all. Hutch is
mm.
definitely a junior college by far, for sure. Like the facilities, the coaches, the athletes. It's really like a prep school for all of the top people in the nation to just go there and do their time there and then go to the school.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard great things about Hutchinson. You actually, uh, stated it the best. And so you're at Hutch, you do your thing. Now it's time to. What was it like as far as the recruitment at Hutch when it's time to start to make decisions about where you're going to go play at next? What was all of that like for you?
Well, I was hearing from a lot of group of fives, and I was hearing from a decent amount of power fives. The the most amount of traction I had with those, I had Indiana, um, Coastal, Marshall, Liberty, but nobody really offered me. So that that kind of hurt, but it was on some stuff like everybody's constantly talking to me, but nobody's really showing that interest. So it kind of changed my mindset to okay, I'm going to go somewhere where they want me and they need me. So that was a very decent um not decent. That was a very good learning experience with all that.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Once again, we're talking to AJ Owens, AJ Ferrari Owens. He's going to go play for Coach TC Taylor in Jackson State. And speaking of Coach TC Taylor and the JSU Tigers, just who was the coach, or when did Jackson State get in the mix for AJ? When did Jackson State kind of come into play and possibly end up as a place that you could land at to play football at in 2024?
Well, I knew the linebacker coach, Coach Hammock, for about 3 to 4 years now, and he was at, I believe, Road. Nah, he was at some D2 up in the New York part.
Mhm.
But they had offered me in end of November, and then he had seen my film, and he was like, "Wait, I know you," and then he had called me and stuff. He was like, "Hey man, um, we love you," da, da, da. And then they offered on the spot, because
Absolutely, man.
he knew me as a person in my junior year, senior year area, so it was already a
Absolutely. Once again, we're talking to AJ Owens. Now, AJ, you took a visit down to Jackson because even after getting an offer from a school like JSU, you still have to take a visit and
Mhm.
figure out if that's the right place for you. What was your visit like to JSU?
It was honestly amazing. Just the whole camaraderie of the staff was just so loving and It really did feel like home. I'm not gonna lie, and that was a major part of in my decision because I need to be somewhere where I can thrive and feel supported and things. So that was just amazing. And then the facilities, of course, but I already seen them all from YouTube and all of the fans and stuff and how they just go crazy. Like the fans love is crazy, you know. And I already knew that going in, but just the staff just was just like, yeah, like icing on the cake, you know.
Absolutely, man. And just what was it like when you decided, like, okay, I'm gonna go to JSU, I'm gonna go play in Jackson? What was it like telling your family? What was their reaction to you deciding to choose JSU?
So the first thing I did, I called my mother. I was like, Mama, I'm committed. She was like, huh? I was like, yes, I'm committed. I'm going to JSU. She was like, well, you know what you have to do now. I was like, yes, ma'am. Time to go to work. Time to eat. Faith, fight, and focus. That's what she said because that's her motto. So, you know, just time to go to work. We was just excited, just happy that that is over, to be honest, you know, because she believes in me and she believes that that I came to a correct, informed decision about my life, you know.
Absolutely, man. That is beautiful. Faith, fight, and focus. I'm gonna have to steal that from moms right there. I like that one. I
It's
like that
about
one
to
a
be
lot.
trademarked though. Like, just give me 3 months. I'm telling you.
Hey, I like that. Hey, go ahead, dude. Hey, that's what it's all about. It's about making it's got to be because that's a good one. That's a good one to get that trademark and get that on some NIL, some merch and stuff. Once again, we're talking to AJ Owens, newest JSU linebacker. Now, AJ, when it came to how the Jackson State staff, how do they see you fitting, incorporating to their defense and what they'll be able to do in 2024?
Well, first thing first, I'm gonna be able to rush the passer. I'm gonna be able to play my off-ball linebacker spot like a middle linebacker type, and they call it the striker ST. Um, so that's most likely the position I'm going to play. But I I fit in all three linebacker spots, so I'm going to be able to rotate if needed. You know, if a guy goes down here, then I can move here, so another guy can go here. You know, so it's going to all be able to rotate and interchange because that's their plan.
Absolutely, man. For the folks at home that have never seen you play before, how would you describe your game? Is there maybe a player comparison or a few words, or how would you describe AJ's game?
Um, honestly, my film just from no, I mean, from me knowing the practice film and game film I have combined, you know, because some plays you don't get to have some plays up in the game, you know, because it's just how the game go, you know. So, but I would say Fred Warner would probably be
Mm.
my comparison because I have dropped up in the middle thirds up in games and I haven't been targeted, so it's not really like a highlight play, you know. But he didn't have some players where he didn't did the same thing, but they throwing to him and he right there, you know. So it's like you feel me, but I, I would say him, and then a word would probably be relentless. You know, I'm always by the ball. I'm always by the ball.
Hey, you getting the folks in Jackson excited, man. Fred Warner is the best in the game now. Fred Warner, that's some
You
high,
feel me?
high,
Yeah, that's hot.
high expectations, man. He's at the top. Yeah. Once again, we're talking to AJ Owens. He's gonna play at JSU now. AJ, in the middle of the AJ and Owens, is that little word in there that means a lot to a lot of people. The word says Ferrari. Where did the nickname Ferrari come from? And why is that fitting for you?
So Ferrari Foster is Reuben Foster's Instagram name. So when I
Mm.
was a junior, I thought I was like, what what name what name can like describe me? And I was just thinking Ferrari. Now, 2 weeks later, I kid you not, 2 weeks later, I was watching a highlight film of Rubens Foster 2016 tape, and I cried, and I cried because I just knew that my dreams were so close, so close. So that's when I followed him on Instagram. So when I followed him on Instagram, his number was 10 at the time, and so was mine. So I was like Ferrari Foster, Ferrari Owens 2.0, So that's how it came about, and people can say I'm jocking him or whatever, but I I think it's more so of I'm paying homage, and I'm giving folks an insight of just how ferocious and physical I play, from defense and to special teams, So
It gets some people excited, man. I mean, Reuben Foster was a dog. Like Reuben Foster can play some football. So, hey, to pay homage, to show love, and to say that you think your game mirrors a Reuben Foster, ooh, it's getting the people in Jackson, Mississippi, really, really excited. AJ, man, and AJ, we love talking ball, and we want you to have a long, fruitful football career. But eventually, football ends. Eventually it ends at some point. Just what are some of the things that you want to do once football is over with?
I want to coach. So my whole thing is I want to mentor, lead, and inspire. So with that, I am getting my degree in the kinesiology field. So JSU doesn't exactly have that, but it's like Bachelor of Science, something, some other classes and stuff. But yeah, um, with that, I want to coach and train. So I want to be able to have my kids who I'm training and coaching, but because first I want to start young. I want to have my kids to be able to eat healthy, eat right, take care of their body, be healthy, and also instill all of the core principles I learned as a kid playing football with my pops being a coach. So I want
Absolutely,
to
man.
emulate that.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful to hear. Now, what are just for the people at home? What are like your measurables, height, weight, and then we know you'll be playing linebacker. But what are those for the ones that want to know?
So, so I'm like 6'1". I'm 222 pounds as of today. I just weighed myself in today. But during the season, I would most likely be around like 230 pounds.
Mm, gotcha, I got you, AJ. We'll get you out on this, man. Just for the people at home that are looking forward to seeing you ball out this fall. Just what can they expect from AJ Owens?
Um, you can expect a lot of things, but the number one thing would be leadership. Um, my whole plan is to come in and just be a um, hard, what's that called? Hard hat and
Yeah.
pale type of guy, So I just really want to come in showing my worth to the team, and then hopefully be able to lead us to a championship. So that's my goal. I want to win, and by any means, that's the goal.
Abs-
Even if I barely
Absolutely.
play, I want to win. So
Hey, that is beautiful to hear, man. That is AJ Owens. My name is Jeff Lightsy Jr. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will see